Okay, so if you're in a field like professional trading, something really high stakes, you've probably seen this happen, or maybe, felt it yourself.
Oh, yeah.
You see these incredibly smart, really motivated people. They get risk, they have solid systems, but somehow they just keep, well, messing up, sabotaging
A
themselves.
classic self-sabotage.
Right. They try to be super disciplined, like white-knuckling it through the trading day,
Hmm.
and then boom, the pressure hits and it's like their own hand just takes over and throws the plan out the window.
It's probably the number one thing we hear about. The market needs you to be objective,
Mm.
rational, but deep down there's this kind of emotional earthquake happening.
Yeah.
And the usual advice, just try harder, be more disciplined. It totally misses the mark. It assumes your conscious mind is actually in charge.
But it isn't, is it?
Often, no. Discipline, in that sense, it can be a bit of a lie. It's like a temporary patch that just rips open when things get tough.
Exactly. We need to stop just treating the symptoms right. We got to find the root cause. So this deep dive, that's what we're doing. We're aiming to uncover your internal code. We're focusing specifically on Lesson 2 from the Trading Psychology Mastery course. That's the one about values, beliefs, affirmations, really foundational stuff.
Yeah, the mission here is to get way past those surface-level tricks. We need to find the real psychological engine. We're looking for that subconscious boss.
The boss.
Yeah, the one calling the shots behind the scenes. That non-negotiable set of values that just overrides everything you consciously decide.
Yeah.
And, that boss could be working for you. Or it could be the very thing holding you back, creating all that conflict.
Okay, I like that. Finding the boss. We've got some really interesting source material for this one. It breaks down how our minds actually filter everything, why your specific view of reality shapes your trading results. And crucially, it points to where your most stubborn, maybe success-blocking values actually came from. And, little spoiler here, it probably happened way before you even knew how to tie your shoes.
That early, yeah.
Okay, let's get into it. Section 1, the subconscious gatekeeper. How we filter reality. So first off, let's just talk about the sheer amount of information our senses are dealing with every single second. It kind of sets the scene for why we're often, working against ourselves.
It's mind-boggling, really. Yeah. Think about all your senses: touch, taste, sight, hearing, smell. They're constantly pulling in raw data.
Constantly.
And it adds up to something like 2.3 million bits of information every single second.
Wow.
Imagine like a massive fiber optic cable just flooding your internal system. Light, sound, temperature, how your body feels, what the market's doing, all of it.
Okay, yeah, 2.3 million bits a second. If we try to consciously process all that, we'd just freeze, right?
Instantly. Total overload. So our brain has to filter.
Yeah.
But the bottleneck, the amount that actually gets through to your conscious awareness.
How small is it?
It's tiny. Your conscious mind, the part doing the logic, the planning, the part you think is trading it, can only handle about 126 bits per second.
Okay, wait. 2.3 million coming in, only 126 getting processed consciously.
Yep, do the math. That means 99.9994% of all that raw information is just handed off, managed entirely by the subconscious mind.
Wow. Okay, that explains a lot. No wonder my reality of the market feels different from someone else's. We're literally working with different data streams.
Precisely. What you perceive as reality on that trading screen, it's not the full 2.3 million bits. It's a highly compressed, heavily edited, personalized highlight reel.
Delivered by the subconscious.
Exactly. And it does this compression using basically 3 main tools. It deletes information, it distorts information, or it generalizes information.
Okay, let's break those down. How would, say, deletion show up as a trading mistake?
Well, imagine you have a strong belief like, this stock always goes down after earnings. Your subconscious might just delete any incoming data that contradicts that.
Like a positive pre-announcement.
Or a really strong bullish chart pattern forming. If it doesn't fit the belief, poof, it gets deleted before your conscious mind even registers it. You literally don't see the opportunity.
Okay, scary. What about distortion? Twisting reality.
Oh, distortion is huge in emotional trading. Let's say your system allows for a small drawdown, maybe 1%. But the moment the trade goes slightly against you, your subconscious distorts that $50 dip into like an existential threat.
And it feels way bigger than it is.
Exactly. It twists the meaning. Suddenly that small dip means you're a failure, means you're going to lose everything. So panic sets in, you ignore your stop loss, maybe you bail out early.
And end up confirming the distorted fear.
You got it. And then there's generalizing.
That sounds like where those self-fulfilling prophecies come from. I always lose money on Fridays.
Absolutely. Generalization is the mind's attempt at efficiency. It's a shortcut. If this happened once, it'll always happen. So you have one bad trade on a Monday.
And suddenly Mondays are terrible trading days.
Right. Your subconscious locks that in. It creates what we call a metaprogram. Now, every Monday you start with a biased state. Maybe you're anxious, maybe overly cautious, maybe reckless because you expect to lose anyway.
And that state leads to behavior that makes the generalization come true.
It's a feedback loop. So the real power isn't trying to fight the fire hose of data. It's about influencing your internal representation, or IR. How do you choose to interpret those crucial 126 bits that get through?
That interpretation is key.
It is. And that interpretation process, it feeds into a whole hierarchy that determines your results. It starts way down deep with these operational instructions and the metaprograms.
Metaprograms. Okay, let's pause on that. It sounds like the background operating system, if that's got bugs.
The whole system downstream is compromised. Exactly.
Yeah.
They're like your default settings. Are
Right.
you internally referenced trusting your gut, or externally referenced needing validation from outside, like your system stats or what other traders are saying?
How does that play out?
Well, think about a trader who's highly externally referenced. Their system says hold, but the market dips slightly. Because they need external validation, they immediately start checking Twitter forums looking for confirmation.
Instead of sticking to their own tested plan.
Right. It undermines everything. These metaprograms, they shape your internal state, your mood, your mental condition at any given moment.
Okay, metaprograms create the state.
That state then drives your behavior, the actual clicks, the entries, the exits.
And behavior leads to.
Results, your P&L. It's a clear chain. Flawed metaprograms, compromised state, destructive behavior, poor results.
Makes sense. And the subconscious, it likes sticking to the familiar path, even if it leads to crashes sometimes.
Yeah, it's efficient, even if it's inefficiently getting bad results. We call the train track analogy. The subconscious prefers staying on the tracks. It knows those ingrained metaprograms, those old beliefs.
Even if those tracks lead off a cliff occasionally.
Because laying new tracks takes conscious effort. The conductor, that's your conscious mind doing the change work, has to deliberately choose a new route and start laying track.
So if we haven't done that deep work, we're basically running on autopilot, using tracks laid down years, maybe decades ago, using an old map that doesn't match where we want to go now.
That's a perfect way to put it.
Okay, so that begs the question. What actually determines where those initial train tracks are laid? What's the primary directive? And that brings us squarely to values.
Exactly.
That we need to define them properly here, not just as, nice ideas we aspire to.
Right. In this context, values are simply what is important to us. That's
Yeah.
the core definition. They are these high-level generalizations, these core principles that function as your true motivational compass.
Not just things you want to value, but things your subconscious must hold no matter what.
Precisely. They are non-negotiable at the subconscious level. And understanding where they sit in the psychological hierarchy is absolutely key to understanding why we self-sabotage.
Okay, let's revisit that hierarchy, that pyramid of influence, top down.
Right at the top, the absolute peak, number 1, you have values. That's the boss.
The boss, got it.
Below that, number 2, come your beliefs. These are the specific convictions, the things you hold to be true that you need in order to live out or fulfill the vision set by your values.
So beliefs serve the values.
Correct. Then number 3, you have attitudes. These are really just collections or clusters of beliefs and values centered around a specific topic, like your attitude towards risk or your attitude towards the market itself.
Okay, values, attitudes, and at the bottom.
Number 4, the surface level, is behavior. These are the actual actions you take, the trades you place, the discipline you show or don't show. It's the only part anyone else sees.
And seeing it laid out like that, it just instantly shows why most self-help advice for traders fails, doesn't it?
Completely. They're trying to fix the problem at level 4, behavior. They're treating the symptom.
Like telling someone, just stick to your stop loss, that's a behavior change.
Right. But if your number 1 value, the boss, is something like absolute security or avoid failure at all costs,
And then the moment that stop loss gets close to being hit,
the boss takes over. It doesn't care about your conscious intention to follow the rule. The value screams danger, threat to security, get out, and now W. And the behavior follows the value, not the conscious plan. The boss wins. Every single time.
it's like an internal override, a coup.
Absolutely. Trying to change behavior directly is exhausting, it takes forever, and it's so easily overridden by a conflicting value. It's like, imagine a trader trying a strategy that needs patience. holding through some volatility.
Okay.
But their value boss is screaming for instant gratification or certainty. The second that trade dips a little, the boss doesn't give a damn about the long-term edge of the strategy.
It just wants the immediate discomfort to stop.
Yes, stop the threat, grab that tiny profit now,
Yeah.
or cut the loss before it gets worse. The behavior gets yanked back into line with the value.
So you used the analogy of the CEO versus the employee before. Trying to change behavior is like micromanaging an employee.
Well, the CEO has a completely different agenda.
Yeah.
It's futile long-term. The real shortcut, the path to effortless, lasting change.
Isn't willpower?
No. It's about changing the CEO. It's about changing what you value at that deep subconscious level.
And if you change the value?
It instantly cascades down the pyramid. The subconscious has to generate new beliefs that support the new value. Those beliefs form new attitudes. And the new desired behavior just happens naturally, without force.
So if I consciously work to change my core value from, say, safety at all costs to growth through calculated risk.
Your subconscious has to adapt. It will start generating supporting beliefs like risk is a necessary part of reward or losses are feedback, not failures. And then behaviors like sticking to your risk management plan become congruent. They feel right, not forced.
This is huge. If these values are the ultimate boss, the obvious next question is, okay, where did my specific bosses come from? When were they hired? Who hired them?
Right. And this takes us back to the developmental frameworks like the one Morris Massey outlined. He talks about 4 stages of value acquisition.
Okay.
There's the imprint period, 0-7, modeling 7-14, socialization 14-21, and then a sort of refinement phase up to about 35.
But the real foundation, the bedrock, is laid super early, right?
Absolutely. That first stage, 0 to 7 years old, the imprint period. This isn't just about learning to walk and talk. It's a profoundly important neuropsychological window.
What's happening in the brain during that time? What makes a kid so programmable?
Well, during that phase, a child is essentially a walking subconscious or unconscious mind. They haven't fully developed the critical factor.
The critical factor, what's that?
Think of it like a firewall or a bouncer at the door of your subconscious mind. It's the part of your conscious brain that uses logic, reason, analysis to evaluate incoming information before letting it sink into the deep subconscious beliefs.
Okay, so it vets things. Does this make sense? Is this true?
Exactly. But that critical factor isn't fully online until around age 7. So before that, especially in those very early years,
The door's wide open, no bouncer.
pretty much, information, suggestions, commands, observed behaviors from parents or the environment, positive or negative, they go straight in. Accepted as absolute truth. No filter, no analysis.
Wow. So if your parents are constantly saying, money is hard to come by, or be careful, the world is dangerous.
That goes straight into the foundational blueprint of the child's mind as undisputed fact. It becomes a core operating principle.
Yeah.
This is why that classic example works. Tell a 4-year-old, do not think of a pink elephant.
They immediately think of a pink elephant.
Because their brain hasn't fully grasped how to process the negation. It hears pink elephant and boom, there it is. Same with do not jump in the puddle. They just hear jump in the puddle.
So the core values imprinted then, often by parents with the best intentions or just by the cultural environment.
They basically set the structure for how you operate as an adult. Unless, and this is the key, unless you've actively done the work later in life to identify and change them.
That's kind of unsettling. We're running adult lives, making high-stakes financial decisions based on code written when we were 4, based on our parents' fears or hopes.
It can be, yeah. It highlights why understanding this is so critical. Let's take the most common, most destructive conflict for traders. That deep, ingrained value of security and safety.
Right, you see this one everywhere.
It often gets laid down hard during that imprint period, especially if parents went through scarcity or job insecurity or just had a general anxiety about the world. They might constantly model risk aversion.
Get a good, safe job, don't rock the boat, save every penny.
Exactly. That installs a deep subconscious program prioritizing accumulation, stability, and avoiding anything that feels like a threat to that stability. Now, fast forward 30 years. This person decides they want to be a trader.
Uh-oh. Instant conflict.
Massive conflict.
Yeah.
Because trading, by its very nature, is the opposite of that 0-7 safety directive.
Yep.
The market involves uncertainty, risk, potential loss, all things the safety boss sees as existential threats.
So let's say our trader, let's call him Mark again. He's got a great system, back-tested, tells him to risk 1% per trade, aim for a 3-to-1 reward. The trade starts working. It goes up maybe 0.5%, like $100 profit. What happens inside Mark's head if his boss is safety?
The safety boss goes on high alert. It screams, threat neutralized. We have a game. Lock it in. Secure the $100. That's real money. Don't lose it.
Even though the system says hold for $300.
The boss doesn't care about the system. It cares about its prime directive. Safety now. So Mark's conscious mind knows he should hold, but the subconscious override forces his hand. He clicks close,
Takes the small profit, feels relief for a second.
then watches the trade run another 10x without him. And what belief does that reinforce? See, taking small profits is safe. Letting winners run is scary and dangerous. The value perpetuates the behavior.
And you mentioned this value can even show up in totally unrelated areas, like that binge eating example.
Right, it's fascinating. If your subconscious is fundamentally driven by that primal need for safety and security, its default strategy is often storage, storing resources for the future.
Like a squirrel burying nuts.
Exactly. So you consciously decide, I'm going to eat healthy, go to the gym.
Hmm.
But if that underlying security value hasn't been addressed, the subconscious might think, wait, burning calories, using energy, that feels unsafe. And it could trigger a behavior like binge eating.
Because storing calories feels like the safest thing to do from a primal survival standpoint.
Precisely. The value boss will find some way to express its mandate, even if it seems completely illogical or counterproductive to your conscious goals. It always finds an outlet.
Okay, this makes so much sense. Our old subconscious values are running the show. So the first step towards any real change has to be figuring out what those values actually are. What code are we running?
Absolutely. And here's the challenge. Ask most people, even really smart traders, quick, jot down your top 5 core values related to your trading.
They'd struggle. Or they'd list things they think they should value.
Exactly. They give you the logical, aspirational answers. Freedom, success, challenge. Those might be true, but they're often not the deep driving forces. We need to get past the conscious mind's justifications.
We need to bypass that critical factor, the bouncer.
We do. And the tool for that is the value elicitation exercise. This isn't a casual thing. It needs to be done properly, ideally with a partner.
Why with a partner?
Because your partner's job is to keep you honest, to stop you from slipping back into logical surface answers, and to push you to keep digging deeper.
Okay, so how does it work? What's step 1?
Step 1. You pick a specific area of your life or context. Let's say your career as a trader. Your partner asks you, simply, what's important to you about your career as a trader?
And I give the first few answers that pop into my head. Money, independence.
Right, the usual suspects. Maybe 3 to 5 logical ones. Then comes step 2, and this is the absolute engine of the process. Your partner's only job now is to repeatedly ask you, what else?
Just what else, again and again.
Again and again. Relentlessly but gently. Like dropping a bucket down a well. You keep asking, what else? Until the well runs dry.
What's the mechanism there? Why does that work?
It's about cognitive exhaustion. Your conscious logical mind runs out of its pre-packaged, socially acceptable answers pretty quickly.
Okay.
When you keep pushing with, what else? The brain is forced to bypass the tired critical factor and start pulling up the raw, unfiltered data directly from the subconscious archives. That's when the real values start to surface.
The stuff you didn't even know was driving you.
Exactly. We've seen people pull up lists of 15, 19, even 20 distinct values in this process. Things like contribution, integrity, peace of mind, sometimes even negative drivers disguised as values.
That makes sense. Exhaust the gatekeeper and the real stuff slips out. What's step 3? Tapping into motivation.
Yeah, we want to connect values to peak states. So the partner asks you to recall a time you were totally motivated as a trader, really in the zone, achieving something significant. Get that feeling back.
Okay, got the memory.
Now the question is, what were you feeling just before you felt that motivation? Maybe it was appreciation for an opportunity or excitement about a setup. Then you follow up. And what's important to you about that feeling? So what's important about excitement? Maybe the answer is fulfillment or satisfaction. We're climbing the ladder of what truly drives positive action.
Okay. Then step 4 sounds like where we look for the hidden roadblocks, the negative stuff.
Yeah, we call this uncovering the crutch or the negative driver. The question is there anything that could happen related to your trading that would make you just quit, make you stop desiring this career altogether?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
It is, but it's crucial. It often reveals a core fear disguised as a value, like avoiding judgment or fear of total loss. It shows you the boundary conditions your subconscious has set for your success.
And step 5 flips that, finds what overcomes the block.
Exactly. You ask, Okay, knowing that negative block exists, what would have to happen or what value would have to be present for you to still desire and pursue your trading career?
So if the block is fear of public failure,
The overriding value might be making a difference for my family or mastery of a difficult skill. This helps identify the truly powerful positive drivers that can trump the fear when consciously focused on.
wow, okay. So you end up with this potentially huge raw list of values. What then? Just look at it.
No, the list itself is just the raw material.
Hmm.
The next critical step is to take that list and prioritize it. You
Hmm.
need to distill it down into your definitive top 10 values in order of importance for that context, trading.
Your personal heart.
Your operational manual from the CEO's office.
Yeah.
And this isn't just an intellectual exercise. You need to make this list tangible. Write it down, put it out.
Get it visible.
Yes. And critically, you have to review this top 10 list every single day before you even think about looking at a chart or placing a trade. It's the conscious act of reminding yourself, this is what's truly important. This is the mission for today. It aligns your conscious intention with your newly understood subconscious drivers.
Okay, so we've elicited the values, prioritized the top 10, and we're reviewing them daily. That feels like a huge step. But how do we know if these values, or maybe the affirmations we want to adopt, are actually being accepted by the subconscious, by the boss?
That's a vital question. The conscious mind can convince itself of anything, but the subconscious holds the actual record. It has perfect memory, and it doesn't really lie in the same way.
So we need a way to check for congruence. Like, does my conscious statement, I am a patient trader, actually match the unconscious belief?
Exactly. And because the body and mind are connected, we can use simple physiological testing, often called muscle testing, to get a readout from the subconscious.
How does that work?
The basic principle is that when you make a statement that is true or congruent for your entire system, conscious and subconscious, your nervous system registers coherence, a subtle flow or surge of energy. When you state something false or incongruent,
There's a conflict.
yeah, a tiny momentary disconnect, like a microsecond short circuit in the system's energy, and the body reflects that.
Okay, so how can someone listening actually do this? What's a reliable test?
The simplest and often most reliable one for self-testing is the lean test.
The lean test. Okay, walk us through it.
You stand up straight, feet comfortably apart. Just relax your body completely. Close your eyes, take a breath, clear your mind as best you can.
Okay. Relaxed, eyes closed.
Then, you state your affirmation or the belief you want to test. Out loud or clearly in your mind, let's use, I am a successful and disciplined trader. And then you just wait, relaxed, paying attention to any subtle shift in your balance.
What happens if it's congruent? If the subconscious agrees?
If the statement is true at the deepest level for you right now, you'll feel a slight involuntary pull forward. Your body will subtly lean forward. It's that energy surge.
And if it's incongruent, if the boss disagrees, maybe because of that old safety value?
Then you'll feel that subtle disconnect, that short circuit, and your body will involuntarily lean slightly backward.
Okay, but here's the skeptical part of me talking, and maybe some listeners too. Can I just kind of make myself lean forward if I really want the affirmation to be true? Isn't it easy to cheat?
That's a really important question. The key is being truly relaxed and observing, not directing. If you consciously try to push yourself or resist the movement, you engage your voluntary muscles and invalidate the test.
So the relaxation is key.
It's crucial. You have to trust the subtle, involuntary neurological response. It bypasses conscious desire. The test reveals the current truth of your internal system, whether you like the answer or not.
Okay, that makes sense. So you could use this practically, like before taking a trade that feels a bit borderline, ask, is taking this trade right now aligned with my plan and values?
Absolutely. State it clearly, relax, see if you lean forward, congruent, proceed with plan, or backward, incongruent, pause, reassess, maybe skip the trade. It's a powerful real-time check-in with your subconscious.
Wow. Okay, so that checks congruence. What about the type of motivation behind our values? You mentioned toward versus away.
Yes, this is the other critical check. Once you have your top 10 values, for each one, you need to ask yourself that follow-up question again. What's important to you about having that value?
Why ask again?
Because the answer reveals why you want it. Is your energy moving towards something positive you desire? Or is it moving away from something negative you fear?
Okay, give me an example. Let's say a value is financial security.
Right. If you asked, what's important about financial security? And the answer is, so that I can provide amazing experiences for my family and contribute to causes I believe in, that's toward motivation. You're moving towards a positive vision.
Makes sense.
But if the answer is so that I don't end up poor and struggling like my parents were, that's away motivation. You're running away from a negative image.
And what's the problem with away motivation? Isn't avoiding pain a strong motivator?
It is, but here's the trap. If your primary motivation is away from, your subconscious mind is constantly focused on the very thing you don't want.
Poverty, struggle, failure.
Exactly. And the subconscious works with images and focus. What you constantly hold in your mind is what you tend to create or attract. If you're always picturing lack to motivate yourself, you're essentially programming yourself for lack.
So you need to know your toward-away percentage for each value.
Yes. And if you find you're heavily away motivated on key values like money or success, you need to consciously shift your focus in your internal imagery.
How?
You need to reframe it. Find the toward aspect. If you want security to avoid being poor away, find what that security will allow you to move toward. Is it peace of mind? Is it helping others? Is it creative freedom?
And then focus your visualizations and affirmations on that positive outcome.
Precisely. Visualize the peace, visualize helping people, visualize the freedom. Focus on what you were building and moving towards, not just what you were desperately trying to escape. It changes the entire energy and instruction set for your subconscious.
Okay, we've got the values, checked their congruence, understood our motivation. Now it's time for the active reprogramming, the change work itself.
Right. Let's start with that big one we discussed. Security safety. If that came up high on your list, you can't just delete it. It's too primal.
So you have to change its association?
Exactly. You need to teach your subconscious, through visualization, that disciplined trading is a path to safety, not a threat to it. Create a new neural connection.
What does that visualization look like in practice? Just picturing winning trades.
Not just that. That's too abstract. You need to make it sensory and focus on the outcome the trading provides. So maybe you visualize executing your plan flawlessly on a trade. Feel the calm confidence.
Okay.
Then vividly picture what that successful trading allows. See yourself using the profits to pay off debt, creating that feeling of relief and security. Or visualize the income allowing you to spend more quality time with your family, feeling totally safe and present with them.
So connect the act of trading to the feeling of safety it produces downstream.
Yes. Engage all the senses in that future safe state. What do you see, hear, feel? The more real you make the safe outcome resulting from trading, the more your subconscious starts to link trading with achieving safety.
How often and for how long do you need to do this? It sounds like it needs repetition.
Absolutely. This isn't a one-shot deal. You're overwriting decades of programming. We recommend dedicated visualization, maybe 15 minutes a day, ideally morning and evening when the subconscious is more receptive, and stick with it for at least 30 days to start building that new neural pathway.
And you also mentioned for security-focused people, maybe extending the demo trading period.
Definitely. Don't rush into live trading if safety is paramount. Build a long, undeniable track record of profitability in demo first. That documented proof of competence becomes a form of security that the subconscious can start to trust. The track record itself helps rewire the association.
Okay, visualization for reassociation. Next up, powerful affirmations. The sources were really specific about how to state goals.
Yes, this is critical. Goals, especially trading goals, must be stated in the past tense as if they have already been achieved.
Why past tense? Why not? I will make $1,000 today.
Because I will leaves it in the future, uncertain. The subconscious deals in the now or the already happened, stating, I successfully followed my plan and made $1,000 today, presents it as a completed reality.
You're implanting the memory of success before it happens.
Essentially, yes. You're giving the subconscious a clear, completed target to navigate towards. It then works to align your state and behavior to match that preordained reality.
Okay, so craft past tense affirmations. What's the practice routine to really hammer them in?
Consistency and repetition are key to bypassing the critical factor. The recommendation is to choose about 4 powerful affirmations, maybe 2 about positive outcomes, 2 about desired identity.
Like, I made my profit target and I am a patient, disciplined trader.
Perfect. Then every morning and every evening, you write each affirmation down 10 times and you say each one out loud 10 times.
Writing and speaking.
Yes. Engaging multiple modalities, kinetic writing and auditory speaking, strengthens the imprint. Do this diligently for at least 3 weeks, minimum, to start embedding them deeply.
Okay, makes sense. Now, the inevitable problem. You're trading, things get choppy, and that negative thought pops up. You're going to lose. This isn't working. How do you handle that in the moment without letting it derail you?
You absolutely cannot fight the thought directly. What you resist persists. Fighting it gives it energy.
So what do you do?
There's a simple 4-step process. Step 1, acknowledge it. Notice the thought without judgment. Just observe it.
Uh-huh.
There's that fear thought.
Okay, it's just
Step 2, release it. This is crucial. Don't engage, don't argue with it. Visualize the thought as a leaf floating down a river and you're just watching it drift by. Let it go. Detach.
Don't get caught in the current with it.
Exactly. Step 3, replace it. Immediately, consciously state one of your positive affirmations. Fill the space the negative thought occupied with your desired reality.
Okay. Acknowledge, release, replace. What's step 4?
Step 4, smile.
Smile. Seriously, even if you don't feel like it.
Especially if you don't feel like it. It sounds simple, maybe even silly, but there's a powerful physiological reason. The physical act of smiling, even a forced smile initially, triggers a biochemical response.
What does it do?
It releases endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, the brain's feel-good chemicals. And biologically, it's almost impossible to maintain a state of intense fear or negativity when those chemicals are flowing. It's a physical state override.
A body hack to change your mind state.
Precisely. Acknowledge, release, replace, smile. Practice it until it's automatic.
All of this work, the values, the affirmations, managing thoughts, it's aiming towards getting into an optimal state for trading, right? The sources called it the Hackalo state.
Yes, Hackalo. It's a Hawaiian concept, basically meaning state of expanded awareness, being present, almost like having a party in your mind, alert but relaxed and open.
And the opposite of that, the danger zone for traders, is that narrow focus.
Exactly, what they call foveal vision. When you get stressed or hyper-focused, you tend to stare intently at one tiny point on the chart. Like the price tick itself, your vision narrows.
And what does that narrow focus trigger?
It triggers the primal lizard brain response. That narrow tunnel vision is associated with fight-or-flight survival mode. It sees threat, conflict, danger.
Which is absolutely terrible for making rational trading decisions.
Disastrous. The lizard brain is great for jumping out of the way of a bus, but terrible for managing risk and probability. So we need to consciously cultivate Hackalo.
How do you do that? How do you get into that state?
It's a physical technique. First, look at your screen or a point in front of you. Then shift your gaze slightly upward, maybe 20 degrees above horizontal eye level.
Okay, looking slightly up.
Now, while keeping that upward gaze, intentionally expand your peripheral vision. Become aware of the edges of your screen, the room around you, almost out to 180 degrees without moving your eyes.
So soft focus, wide awareness.
Exactly. You'll feel the shift. Things might seem to slow down slightly. You feel calmer, more detached, more aware of the bigger picture, less hooked by every little tick. That's Hackalo.
And this state is so important, you recommend using it as a stop loss.
Yes, a Hackalo stop loss. This is a psychological stop. The very second you notice yourself dropping out of that state, your vision narrows. You feel yourself zoning in intensely on one price point. You feel that tension rise. That's your signal.
Exit the trade.
Exit the trade immediately, regardless of what your technical stop loss is doing. Because the fact that you lost the Hackalo state means you've dropped into your reactive lizard brain. Objective decision-making is gone.
Preserve your capital, reset your state.
And only consider re-entering if and when you can reestablish that calm, expanded Hackalo awareness. It's about protecting your decision-making ability, which is your greatest asset. #tag Mananoetro.
Well, we've certainly gone deep today, haven't we? Moving way past just try harder and really digging into that internal code, the unconscious drivers behind trading success or lack thereof. Absolutely. So just to wrap up the key things for you, the listener, to take away and start working on. First, really grasp the power of that subconscious filter. Remember the 2.3 million bits down to 126? Your reality is actively constructed based on your filters. Second, do the work. Use that value elicitation exercise to uncover your real top 10 values, the boss, and review that list every single day before you trade.
Super important.
Third, check yourself. Use the lean test for congruence. Make sure your conscious goals and affirmations aren't fighting a hidden subconscious objection.
No, you're true.
Fourth, start reprogramming. Use those past tense affirmations, write them, say them. Use visualization to reassociate challenging values like safety, and actively cultivate and use the Hackalo state as your ultimate performance gauge and psychological stop.
Yeah, and remember that core equation. Attention plus intention plus belief equals your reality. Your main job now is managing your attention. Where is it focused? Are you running towards your goals or away from your fears?
Because what you resist persists.
Exactly. Because that's where your attention is. All you ever really have is this present moment right now to make a different choice, to focus your attention deliberately.
Okay. So as you start processing all this, maybe begin doing the elicitation exercise, thinking about your own internal boss, we want to leave you with one final thought, a bit of a paradox, a riddle to mull over until our next deep dive.
It challenges your perception of reality and existence itself.
Right? Lay it on us.
In the absence of that which is not, that which is not.
Okay. In the absence of that which is not, that which is not. Chew on that one. Think about what it implies about contrast, definition, and reality.
Don't worry if it bends your brain a little. That's the point.
We'll let you ponder that. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We look forward to connecting with you again next time.